Hello and welcome to another episode on exciting careers as electrical engineer in power system industry. In this episode, we are going to discuss opportunities within the renewable energy space as an electrical engineer. The revolution in renewable energy is right up there with artificial intelligence and Internet of Things in terms of the most cutting edge and promising technologies. It is now generally accepted that the economies of future are going to be the ones that are able to fully capitalize the renewable energy technology. The competition in the renewable energy space is somewhat similar to the space race of 1980s. Countries and states are aggressively trying to diversify their pool of electricity generation mix by adding more and more renewable in terms of solar, wind, biofuel, geotech, and so on. It is driven in part by the climate change, global warming, greenhouse gases, deteriorating environment, and also because of the financial and political incentives. In terms of the economics, renewable energy by definition is sustainable. It is evergreen and self-replenishing. As far as the political side of things is concerned, there is an inherent element of security and stability. You're not dependent on price volatility and regional conflicts and geopolitical challenges, which are quite often associated with oil and gas. If you have large installations of wind farms and solar and PV systems within your geographic boundaries, it is essentially localized electrical generation, which is not reliant upon fuel imports from outside. Due to all of these factors, we are noticing a significant increase in investments in the renewable energy space across the board, which is resulting in tons and tons of opportunities for electrical engineers who have expertise, experience, and passion for renewable energy. In fact, as I've mentioned in some of my earlier videos as well, even non-electrical engineers are pivoting into renewable space. This is a rare occurrence for electrical engineering because in the past we have seen an exodus of electrical engineers into different areas such as software, business management, project management, computer networking. One of the main reasons for the reversal of this trend, where non-electrical engineers are moving into power systems engineering, is largely due to opportunities in the renewable sector. So what is the typical role of an electrical engineer in the renewable space? Depending on the nature of project, you can find yourself working in utility scale, commercial scale, or residential scale solar projects, battery energy storage, onshore and offshore wind farms. You'll be responsible for creating and reviewing the electrical scope of these projects, developing single line diagrams, 3-line diagrams, electrical equipment layouts, panel schedules, cable schedules, interacting with utility professionals for interconnection of the installation with the grid, performing due diligence studies for feasibility, providing construction support, performing field engineering role, and working and commissioning on startup from the electrical side of things. A few years ago, there were certain regions in the US which were taking lead in renewable energy projects. Currently though, you're going to see interest in renewable projects all across the board and at every level. The public and the private sector is equally interested in initiating and participating in these projects. There are several subsidies that are in place at state level and federal level. There are incentives in place for manufacturers. Even big players from oil and gas industry are diversifying their asset base by investing in renewable projects. So how can you get a foot in the door as a renewable energy engineer? On the academic side of things, employers are looking for candidates that have completed 4 years of undergraduate engineering coursework. They typically prefer candidates who have FEEID certification and ideally a PE license. As you probably know, I help electrical engineers prepare for FE electrical and computer exam as well as the PE power exam. I've authored several books on the topic of FE electrical and PE power exam preparation, and I also run popular exam preparation programs for FE electrical and PE power. If you want to learn about my exam preparation resources, please visit my website studyforfe.com. As far as the experience is concerned, if you have worked on the full life cycle of a renewable project, that will help you stand out for prospective employers because this area is still relatively new, and having 4 to 5 years of experience on a renewable energy project will potentially put you in the top 10% of candidates because it's relatively new space. If you have experience in areas such as battery energy storage, power utility operations, solar PV design, onshore offshore wind farms, conducting design reviews, project development from conceptual engineering all the way to detailed design, protection and control, relay settings, SCADA systems, substation equipment, grounding studies, power system studies. All of these skill sets are desirable by employers who are looking for renewable energy electrical engineers. Now let's talk about career prospects and growth opportunities. As I mentioned early on, this is a booming space within power systems industry. So much so that non-electrical engineers are trying to make their way and pivot into renewable space. And the interesting fact is that there are not a lot of people with tons of experience. Even if you start right now, in a few years, you'll be considered experienced. You just need to get exposure and perform these skills and execute a project within the context of renewable energy. And after you successfully deliver a couple of these projects, you'll be considered fairly well versed as a renewable energy specialist. If you're already working in the renewable energy industry as a power systems engineer, please share your thoughts and comments, perspectives, insights in the comment section of this video. And if you want to learn more about preparation of FE Electrical and Computer exam and the P-Power exam, then check out these playlists over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video.